Hey, Lucas Roth here, 2023 January. It's the 1 year update on the Selkirk Motel. Here I am, back at it one more time. Here's the motel. Just to run you through the paces again, we bought it for $700,000 1 year ago. There are 18 rooms in circulation. Some of those have kitchenettes, built in the 50s. We put 25% down. There is the office. A couple of the changes that we made is that room number 1 right there used to be part of the manager's apartment, which is kind of in that back corner, but we've separated that back out and put it back into circulation. So we gained 1 room there. We lost a room over here that I'm about to show you for reasons I will explain. So we're definitely gonna have to find a window to replace that boarded up thing, but here used to be a room. But yeah, we had to take it back out of circulation for a couple of reasons. One is we needed some storage, but the other is also that we had water heaters in 2 different rooms, room 13, room 18. Room 13, a guest was there for 7 days. They checked out, and then the manager found that the room was completely soaked. The water heater had failed, and there was like mold growing everywhere. So it was really weird that the person never said anything, but anyways, that room had to get gutted. And basically the water heaters were removed from both of those 2 rooms because they were not accessible and they were old. And anyways, in this room, we ended up having a plumber put in, all new water heaters over here. And then so that was a fair amount of work. And then we also upgraded electrical. There's some new panels. I don't know if you can see the window, but we replaced all the windows in the property for about $40,000. So this used to be a room, but it's not anymore. And it's just gonna remain like this for the foreseeable future. Hey, David. Hey. And then I am staying in room 13, which I'll show you now. All right, so room 13, where's my key at? This is the room that was like totally soaked and had to get demoed, and so it's been rebuilt, and it looks real good right now. So here it is. No, I did not make my bed last night. Okay, but anyways, it looks pretty cool, right? You got a little headboard. You got the sconces, you got the USB plugs, kitchenette area. That's an air fryer, which I thought that was kind of funny, kind of cool. And then, of course, you got a bathroom, which has been totally redone. Yeah, it looks great in here. So, anyways, this is a super comfortable room to run you through the paces. We bought this thing January 2022. It's 1 year. From there now, I'm back in town. Moved to Portugal in August. I'm back for 2 weeks just to kind of check out the motels and just kind of like get a handle on things. So yeah, after we bought it, it made money about $10,000 a month for the first few months, probably 3 months, let's say. And then we started just putting all the money back into the property, doing those updates that I mentioned. Windows, plumbing, electrical, remodeling this room, completely. And then a couple other rooms we were doing some fixes and stuff like that. But yeah, all in all, it was going really well. But then in July, we bought another motel in Kashmir, Washington. And then the manager that was here moved to Kashmir to run that one. And so when she left, she was basically managing this one remotely. So, doing schedule, doing payroll, in touch with the cleaners, but it was just 2 cleaners here. And when, a cleaner would quit, then the manager was driving back here just to clean rooms and try to like get somebody else. And it just didn't really work very well. So at the time that the manager was here, it was going great. And then when she left, it just stopped doing great. This is just kind of a basic lesson in business, I think, in general, and definitely in motels, which is like if you have a great manager, then your motel will make money. And if you don't, then your motel won't make money, and it will definitely lose money. That's my opinion. So yeah, we learned that lesson. Basically, it was just really interesting because, two cleaners here, obviously they're not incentivized or specifically like hired to like run the business and fill up the rooms, and so they don't. And then, the manager would come back and it'd be mostly empty. Then she'd say, oh, we sold out. Since I've been here, we've been filling up the rooms. And so I'm just like, well, what specifically is going on? And there's probably a few things between the lines that I don't know about, but the principal thing was just she was answering the phone. So the office hours might be 10 to 7, and the cleaners show up at 10 and start cleaning the rooms, and maybe they don't get to a phone call or two or whatever. But when she's up here, my manager's up here, then she has the phone on her. Somebody calls at 8, books a room. Somebody calls at 9 p.m. Oh, can I go stay there tonight? Yep, we got a room for you. Books a room. Makes sure that all the rooms are cleaned right away so that they're immediately ready to receive another guest. So all of these things kind of suffered after the manager left. As a result, historically this motel was definitely renting to people who were with a group called Rural Resources, which, there's many different organizations here and everywhere, basically agencies trying to help find people housing, so getting temporary housing for people. And so we were kind of leaving that behind, but then when the motel was real slow, then we started allowing more of those people here. You allow more of those people. You're filling up the rooms, you're getting rent, you're getting income. But then the flip side is you have the woman who said Satan was controlling her and spent about 2 hours destroying everything in the room, cutting every cord, smashing every screen, breaking every piece of furniture, smashing every mirror. I mean, it's just, you get people like that. So there's a definite cost to like accepting those kinds of tenants. But anyways, picking and choosing, we've kind of gotten to a spot where we're having like a few of the rooms filled with those people, just really on a selective basis, depending on their backstory and things like that. But the manager's, directly like overseeing those kinds of things, not me. So anyways, haven't taken any money out of the motel in this year. The motel is in a better shape than it was a year ago, so there's definitely some progress in that respect. But I came to this conclusion like, okay, this motel definitely needs a really good manager to be here full time. And so one of the main reasons actually why I'm in the States right now is because I'm kind of helping this transition of, I hired a new manager. A friend of ours in Seattle is moving out to Colville out here to be the manager here. And I'm just super excited because I think he's going to do a super good job. And I think the motel is going to be really successful again. So as I was thinking about, this video, it's kind of like, okay, the main takeaway I would say from the year in is that you have to have a great manager. And of course, that's kind of like a hollow piece of advice because anybody can say that and it's easy to understand. But at the same time, the hard part isn't like knowing that you need a good manager. The hard part is actually getting a good manager. And the fact that I'm moving somebody out here from Seattle is not something that deserves an explanation. I'll say it like that. So let me launch into this story of, how we found this manager. All right. So like many, many years ago, maybe 10 years ago, a guy in church, we know him from church. He comes and helps out clearing a lot that we had for sale, or we were trying to sell in Seattle. Clears it out, does a good job. So we're like, oh, do you want to, help with this remodel? You can just work with our general contractor and just do this remodel with him every day for the next few weeks. So he does that. He's taking the bus. He doesn't have a car, but he shows up on time. He doesn't have a lot of tools, but as we're paying him, then he's like buying a tool here, buying a tool there. So he's kind of like, just kind of growing in that sense. And so then at that point, after he worked at the remodel, then we're like, hey, we have this beater truck that we just use for dump runs and handyman stuff. If you're willing to take on that type of work, then you can use our truck. So he starts doing that stuff, starts using our truck. So then we give him our truck. And next thing you know, my wife and I are agents in Seattle, or were. He's just doing everything for us. Every time somebody needs a house listed for sale, he's there. He's doing the yard work. We ended up buying a bunch of furniture and doing staging, and so he's renting the U-Haul and hauling the furniture and unloading it and setting it up, and bringing friends of his to help fill in the gaps as needed. And so it just becomes unbelievably valuable to us, and we're just like constantly using him all the time, and he's helping us tremendously. And so of course we in turn want to help him, right? So we we treat him well. We pay him immediately. We ask him how he is. Is there anything we can do to help? We take care of some bills for him. We just do various things that basically show our appreciation and tell him that we value him. So you do this for years, and frankly, like in the years that my wife and we were like agents in Seattle together for like 10 years, we went through over 50 contractors, general contractors, plumbers, electricians, like handyman, everything. I mean, and so whenever it was just something that we just naturally did, it's like whenever we found somebody that really did a good job, was responsible, was nice to work with, we always treated them as well as possible, paying them immediately, buying them lunch, doing, just being understanding when things don't go well, the first time. And, that's just kind of how you just generally build up these relationships with people so that when you need them, then they're willing to help you. Right. And so it happens that, I started talking to our guy, that I've been describing, like after we bought the first motel, like, hey, I kind of knew like we're going to move away at some point. We're not going to be able to use him in that same way that we were, where he's doing all this work for us, because we're not going to do that work anymore. But I don't want to lose him. It's like he's so valuable to us. I'm like, maybe he'll run a motel for us. And he was into the idea. And so then a few weeks ago when I called him, like, hey man, can you move out to Colville and just run this motel for us? And he was very happy to do it. And he's kind of excited about doing it. So like I said, what's the point of the 1 year retrospective view of the motel is that managers and people in general are like utterly like so important. And so you need a good manager. And basically I think whenever you need something, you can either buy it or you can build it. If you need a house, you can buy a house or you can build a house, whatever it is. And so this same mindset can be actually applied to people, I think. So I guess stepping back, it's like before we got into the motel business, our assets were our real estate, houses, duplex, triplex, that's our assets. That's what we use to make money. Well, being in the hotel game, all of a sudden, the perspective broadens a bit. And now I would say like our people are our assets. So this manager that we inherited here at this first motel, her and now her boyfriend's working with us as well. We really like value that relationship with them. So we don't want them working for anybody else. We want them to be with us. And so what we do is we pay them well. We give them bonuses, incentives, ask them how they're doing, just respect them very much and ask for their input and then honor them as much as we can. And that's the best that we can do to make sure that they're going to want to continue to work with us. Well, that's kind of the approach that we have to take with anybody that we find that's good. So, if we found like this kind of like laborer, we thought he was good. He has grown so much. And obviously we're not doing anything to him, but I would say like we're building him up as an asset. And I don't mean that in an impersonal way. He's a very good friend of mine and I really do value him so much. But this is what I mean is like, you can go out and just hire somebody to do work for you. And that might work out or it might not, but you're never gonna beat like a long relationship when you've known somebody for years and you've taken care of them and they've taken care of you. That's something that you can't just buy very easily, but that's something that we've always kind of tried to create as the opportunities arise. So anyways, that's what we're trying to do with the manager that was here, that's in Kashmir now, trying to build that relationship, be very consistent. For the manager that's coming in here now, that relationship's been in place for a long time. And to give you another example, it's just like in Kashmir, in our other motel, we have a cleaner that's been doing a real good job. I asked our manager there, like, hey, this cleaner, is she good? Like, could she be a manager? And she said, yeah, she's great. Every time I give her responsibility, she takes it to the next level. She's proactive. She's really good. And so I had to talk with her like a few days ago when I was back in Kashmir, and I just said like, hey, I've been told your manager says you're doing a really great job. She's just 19 years old, but I'm like, I'd like you to train you to be a manager if that's something that you're interested in, because we can show you how to like run payroll, do the back office stuff, the vendors, the supply purchases, all these things. You already know how to clean the rooms because that's what you're already doing, but we can take you up kind of like the value chain, and you can make more money and you can have more responsibility, and then in the future, you can either run this motel for us, or, be the manager, or you can be the manager at a different motel. She's like, oh, well, mentioned like, I haven't gone to college. I'm just like, man, I do not care if you've been to college or not. That's not part of the deal. It's just like, do you show up? Do you work hard? Are you a pleasant, kind person to deal with? So anyways, like, to me, I would say the key, and I'm not successful yet, right? But I'm planning to be successful at least. But the key to success, I think, in business where you're relying on people, which motels definitely is basically like, find good managers. If you can't find them, then grow them, and just constantly be on the lookout for who can take the next level of responsibility. Because ultimately, I want to grow. I want to own more motels. I want to make more money. And so for me to be able to do that, I have to find people who can also grow, who can grow along with me, right? My manager, the existing managers, I want them to be able to manage more than one motel or hotel. And the people who are cleaning, I want them to be able to be managers, So you always kind of hire in and just try to keep whoever is good, as much as is possible. So anyways, that's kind of like the update. Probably a few things I'm forgetting, but again, it's Lucas at the Selkirk Motel, one year in. I'll make this an annual thing, hopefully, and hope y'all doing well. Bye.